Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I am still on the case of Xscape. Yes, I am still on the case of Xscape. And guess who has come out of the woodworks and decided that they wanted to have some things to say? And that was Mr. Jermaine Dupri. Now, I do believe he's dropping a single or whatever, and he's out here doing his promotion. And I'm like, girl, what a fine time. Everybody out here trying to get them a piece of the pie. Now that SWV and Xscape got this show and they're blowing up. They're at the top of everybody's blogs, minds, trending topics, whatever the case is. So he like, let me slide on the ice with my escapades and get you yah with the marmalades. Anyway, girl, so he decided he was finna slide on the ice and he finna come into it too, so that he can, get him a little bit of shine on as well. Now, y'all know he got the single or whatever he's trying to do, but he's also working on quote unquote a versus, okay, with P. Diddy. And I don't even know if that's really a thing, okay? They keep saying it's gonna happen. P. Diddy ain't saying nothing. JD the only one talking about it's gonna happen. So I'm like, girl, is it really gonna happen? I don't know. It's supposed to be a huge thing, but girl, whatever it's gonna be, I might be up in there, girl. I'm gonna be sliding on the ice. Okay, so I could be up in the arena for it too. But anywho, while he's out and he's promoting, he stopped by V103 out in Atlanta with Big Tigger and Shamia, and he ended up addressing a bit of the Xscape situation, but more so about, I believe it was about Tocha and her going solo. But before we get into that, I did talk about this situation previously as far as, it was an interview that he did on The Breakfast Club a few years ago where he kind of talked about the group being broken up and how they went about breaking up because, one person would like to blame the other person, and he kind of touched on that. Okay, so for the people that ended up missing that video, I am going to play that clip for you guys now so that you can hear what he had to say back then, and then we're going to fast forward to what he had to say now. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out what he had to say back then.
It's interesting you mentioned Xscape because I was going to ask you a question that they say that nobody ever asked you. You never bigged them up in interviews.
Yeah,
was that a conscious thing?
No, I never talked about Xscape in interviews because they broke up by the time, you know what I mean? Like, and I felt like it was like, I never understood why they broke up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I never understood why they broke up. I never understood what the reason was, and I just felt like if they didn't want to talk about their own self. So what am I here talking about? You know what I mean? I want to talk about everything else. I would always love to talk about Xscape, but they just never wasn't really. They was really completely opposite of what they was doing. Like for the longest, people that watched T.I. and Tiny never even knew that she was even a group. You know what I'm saying? And then Kandi, she got so much popularity from Housewives. It was the same thing. Like people wasn't really ever connecting them to.
If you're from a certain era, you
from
knew.
A different era.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for the most part, you never heard them say nothing about it either. So it was just like it wasn't really something that I was deliberately doing. It was just the fact that I was just caught up in what was happening.
That's when you got a lot of hit records when you can just conveniently forget Xscape. Xscape was popping. I didn't realize how big Xscape was, though. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, you did, because we had a whole conversation when they said they were going back on tour, and I was like, oh, that's exciting. I want to see Xscape. And he was like, who wants to see Xscape?
I did, because I didn't realize how big they were. I didn't realize
a lot of people didn't. And I'm glad that they went on the tour. I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that I sparked that energy to make them even go out there and do that, because a lot of people on that other side of that fence that didn't realize how big that group is and how much they meant to the culture.
Did it make it awkward when Tamika said that you and Kandi was having sex?
No.
Was that part of the reason you?
I'm a lifer, man. I'm a real life person, man.
Yeah.
Things that happen in my like the funniest part about I'm gonna say is the funniest part about being older and becoming I guess legendary, what people call you, is that people always try to make fun of things that happen in your life. You can't make fun about things this is my life.
Right.
I live the craziest life ever. Like when I had to tell Wendy Williams this about Janet. Like I dated Janet Jackson, nobody else. You can't say nothing crazy about it. You can ask me about it, but I'm the one who enjoyed all of that. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with anybody that anybody said they heard I was with. Me and Kandi, we did have a little thing, but that ain't what broke the group up.
Now hold on now, because the girl first she
y'all
said
heard
y'all
him.
did
That ain't
do
what broke
something,
the group up.
and then she said she lied about it. So which Tamika, whoever, whatever.
I think what happened was that I know Kandi in her book discussed what happened, and she said you guys did have a relationship, and I could see how that could be somewhat weird for the other girls in the group, because they might feel like they're not getting treated equally, that Kandi might have had more of an advantage because she had more of a direct line to you. I mean, it's just what people think.
Yeah. And they said it was you and your daddy smashing
Right,
her.
that's the lie. She said it was never his dad.
That's where That's where my hands.
So you bow out?
That's where I bow out. I don't know nothing about all that other stuff.
So it was about Kandi saying that they lied about her sleeping with Jermaine's dad.
Not Jermaine.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I mean, the situation with me and Kandi it was just something that happened. It wasn't like that. And I mean, you know, the thing that broke Xscape up, for just the clarity, is me writing the songs. Because when the group came to me, I never really paid attention to how the group was actually created from the scratch. I write the songs based on how I hear music, and I thought that Kandi should sing the songs because that's just how that's how it felt to me. But Tocha was actually the leader of the group. So when you start giving people songs and you tell them they should sing, and you give a song to Angela, and he's the person who started it, he gonna be looking like, yo, well, I'm supposed to be singing.
And then they probably thought y'all had a relationship.
No, it wasn't. That was the first song.
That's what. Okay.
This was the very first song. This happened before anything. This was like this when they came to my house. I said, yo, this is the song I want y'all to sing. The song said Kandi be the lead, right? And then Tocha had to fall back, and it's like her group. So from there, I never even paid no attention to what I was doing. I was already creating a friction by doing that. And that's a lot of times that happens when you write songs. You don't even really pay no attention to that. And people don't, you know, I didn't pay too much attention to that. And I kept writing songs that leaded to, like, once Just Kicking It went #1, and I was like, oh, shit, Kandi, you might need to sing another song.
Right.
And then the person's still looking like, nigga, this is my group. When I'm gonna get my lead. So, and then it started changing when I made Who Can I Run To, and Tocha sang the lead, and Kandi wasn't on that song, right? So it was like, it just was the way the structure was. That group thing is so crazy when you do that type of stuff.
And what about Tocha going solo? Was that your idea? Was that another label?
I mean, I think she always wanted to go solo, but the whole truth of it was that I wasn't like pushing that to be something that would break the group up.
All right, so y'all just heard what Jermaine Dupri said roughly a few years ago on The Breakfast Club about the breakup and everything regarding the group. And it also seemed like he was saying Kandi had nothing to do with her solo album not coming out. Okay, we already know that Kandi had nothing to do with that. He was more so focusing on the hits that he was making with Xscape, which is why I believe Tasha's album took a back burner. Not so much as Kandi had an impact on that. Okay, so that's just what I'm believing. But when you hear him today, it seems like he's saying that he kind of can't really recall what the situation was. But we're gonna let him tell us today what he has to say about Tasha's solo album and all of that. So let's just go ahead and check out what he had to say in this more recent interview. And first of all, I want to shout out Kandi Burruss fan page over on Instagram as well, because they were able to capture this clip. So thank you.
We just had Xscape in here the other day, and then we had Tocha here as well. I know you know all the drama that's been going on with them from their show, Queens of R&B. They've been going back and forth about a lot of stuff. One thing, they brought your name up and was saying that you were responsible for not releasing Tasha's albums. They said, well, why don't you ask JD about it? Did she ever ask you about that?
Yeah, did she?
No.
Of course not.
They don't ask me nothing. They know what ask me.
What would have been your answer?
Excuse me? They didn't ask you nothing? They know not to ask you nothing? Why would they know not to ask you nothing? Maybe they don't rock with you because you was ready to sell off whatever permission for songs and all of that. I just hope Xscape, you know, although they're touring and they're making a ton of money, I do hope that they're able to get some type of percentage off of these songs that they sung, even though he wrote them or whatever, girl, y'all kind of got gypped.
Because Tocha blamed Kandi for it, and you know it was said you and Kandi was dating at the time, and she was like,
He don't seem like
"I
he
ain't
wanna
gonna
talk
stop your
about it."
music from coming out. Talk to JD about it."
Yeah, I don't know.
You do know.
Actually, I was thinking about this because I saw it, and I was like, I don't actually remember. Really, I don't.
But you wouldn't.
So I'm gonna go back just a second. I have to go back to the original question because he's saying that he does not remember.
On with them from their show, Queens of R&B. They've been going back and forth about a lot of stuff. One thing, they brought your name up and was saying that you were responsible for not releasing Tasha's albums.
Boom. Now, he might not remember, but we just listened to the clip from the past. Okay, I understand it's quite a few years old, all right? And I understand if he may not remember because he signed them back in the early 90s or whatever the case was. But it sounds like the album really didn't go far. In my opinion of how I digested it, it didn't go far because he was more focused on Xscape selling as a group. Like, it was already a hit. You already heard him say when it came down to Kandi singing lead, it was like, Kandi, you should sing another one and sing another one and sing another one. So he was pretty much drilling in on what was working. It was Kandi singing lead that was working for him, okay, and bringing in the money. And in addition to that, it was them as a group together that was bringing in the coin, you know. So
Well, why don't you
that's
ask
what I thought.
JD about it? Did she ever ask you about that?
No.
What are your thoughts on
They
it?
don't
What
ask me
happened?
that. They know
What
why they ask
happened?
me.
What would have been your answer?
Because Tocha blamed Kandi for it, and you know it was said you and Kandi was dating at the time, and she was like, "I ain't finna stop your music from coming out." Talk to JD about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually. I was thinking about this because I saw it, and I was like, I don't actually remember. Really, I don't.
But you wouldn't have given Kandi that kind of power to stop somebody, another artist on your
Right.
label's record, right?
You said what now?
You wouldn't have allowed Kandi to stop.
How could
Tocha.
she?
That's what I'm saying. So
Boom.
but that was the allegation. That was the
No, nobody can. No,
He's the one that's in charge of
I
that.
don't. Like I said, I don't actually remember what actually happened in the process of Tasha's project. But I do know that it was moving forward. When I did Bounce With Me, Tasha, that's actually Tasha singing by herself on that song. And so me and Tasha was in the studio at that time. I don't remember what was actually happening. There was a lot going on.
I feel like he might be holding back.
Cause
Not
like,
wanting to say certain
you know,
things.
and it's so crazy because Nelly was in the studio with me last night. He was talking about these egos, and he's like, JD, that's your job. That's what you do. You deal with all the egos. You know how to do it very well. Because if you remember, like when I did So Def 20th anniversary, it was only 2 girls that came on stage and performed as Xscape at the 20th.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's and at that time it was Tasha and her sister, and Tamika and Kandi didn't show up. So it's like, I don't pay no attention to this either. I just
Do you not? It's making me wonder, do Tasha and Tamika, Kandi and Tamika, were they sick or do they just not F with you? JD is what I'm wondering. And I'm also not understanding the reasoning as to why he highlighted the fact that the Scott sisters showed up. And then you said you're not paying attention, you don't really pay attention to it, but you paid attention to it. I don't know.
It's okay. It is what y'all, you know.
Y'all
I love it. I actually like it more or less than anything. I know everybody.
I bet you do like it. It's bringing you money.
The fact that you
Your
guys
name's
are talking
still on
to
they
these
stuff.
girls in 2023.
He making
and I
so much
signed
money off
them in
these songs right
92,
now.
and they're like at the top of the conversation on every blog, on TV, radio. It's a that's a real. I feel like something that says something about the talent that they are. That people really still care about them. You know what I mean? Enough to even for you to even be asking me about them. It's like that's the first group I ever signed, and for them to still be, you know, they probably more popular now than they were when, you know what I mean, when I first signed them. So I feel like we in that world where if you know, Candy's been a housewife since the duration, right? Since it first started, right? So she's basically part of that world, and they have basically gone into that world. So I think it's almost like what you was just saying, Tigger, about like me going into different, you know, sectors of life. I feel like they have evolved from this early 90s girl group to, you know, a talked about girl group in the 2000s, and then they're continuing to keep it going. So I feel like hopefully they all understand we only get one life, right? We only get one life. So all of this excitement, turn it into something, put an album out.
Boom. So y'all just heard what he said. All this excitement. Hopefully the ladies can turn it into something, put some music out. I really feel like Kandi and them could have said something like alluded to them putting out some new music. I feel like Xscape 3, the new Xscape 3, I think they are going to put some new music out together. I really feel like I've been listening to so much Xscape content that I'm pretty sure I heard that. I'm pretty sure I heard them slip that in. I think that is something that is indeed going to happen. But honestly, you know, JD did this interview and it seems like he wanted to get in on a little bit of the shine, just a little bit, but also not really have a whole lot of didn't want to really partake in a whole lot of the drama and stuff that they got going on. He's saying he cannot recall, but I feel like he recalled enough to know that Kandi cannot interfere and step in and try and stop nobody's quote unquote bag, okay, and stop nothing, okay. Kandi had nothing to do with that. This is his second time on record saying that. So whatever narrative that was, I feel like that could be dropped, okay, when it comes to Miss Tocha, all right. So y'all just heard what JD had to say on more than one occasion. You heard the recent version and you also heard the flashback, okay. You guys, let me know your thoughts and comments down below regarding everything that JD had to say. And can somebody just confirm in the comments whether or not he still owns like all of their music and stuff like that? Because I feel like he does. And even if he may have a percentage, like even if they own like some of their stuff, I feel like he got a percentage. So I guess my question is really, y'all let me know if y'all know if Xscape owns anything. And that's the best thing they can do really is sit up here and tour, because that's where they making most of their money. And he'll probably make his from the streams and stuff like that. I don't know if they got to kick back him some coin, okay? Girl, yeah. But y'all let me know down in the comments, all right? That's all we got at this time, as JD has finally come out and slick addressed the situation at hand with some of the ladies, okay? So that's all I got. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.